and welcome to It's Miracle Beauty. I am a beauty review channel from the consumer point of view, and as a consumer, I am not loving my landlords excavating outside my house every single day and interrupting my filming schedule. But I'm going to try to edit as much as I can. Hear any potty words, they make me look like a nun. So this is a review of the Uoma Beauty Say What foundation. I actually am really interested in this. I saw quite a few reviews before I ever purchased it, but it kept being like kind of in the back of my head, And then I finally bit the bullet and bought it earlier this year. So we are going to get into this application and review, and I am doing a wear test. It is 10:51. My makeup's been on about a half an hour, so we're going to go with a 10:30 start time, and I am going to try to get minimum 8 hours, possibly 10 hours in this foundation. So if you like foundation reviews, if you want to see how the Say What foundation does on my skin, as a dry 42-year-old, I would suggest you keep watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my Makeup Minute Mondays, Full Face Fridays, or any of the other videos that I do. Let's get started. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is prime. I did just prime using the Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. It doesn't look like that. This is a very moisturizing primer, and I did already use the Smashbox oil previous to this, so my skin should theoretically be at peak moisture. This is a pretty foundation. It's just very matte. So I am going to start with the foundation now that I have primed. This is a review of the Uoma Beauty Say What foundation. So ever since I saw this the first time, I have wanted to review this. However, it always kind of seemed like I found something else, or it wasn't in stock, or I forgot about it and I remembered about it. And then I saw, I want to think it was Nerd Out of Water, I think, did this, and it like put it back in my forethought or my brain. So I did end up purchasing it. I did purchase things to do an almost full face of Uoma Beauty. I'm even using a few of these here. Two just flat out didn't work for me. One is just I purchased the wrong shade, but it's too late to exchange. So we're going to move forward with the foundation. You do got to shake this one really good.
I found the first time I didn't shake it, and I got a totally different consistency than when I shook it. So I am going to shake this really good. Okay.
It is relatively thin, so your sponge will soak it up some. So don't be alarmed if you do have to use a little bit of extra if you're using a sponge. I found last night that I had to reapply more than I normally do because it is a runnier consistency. One of the ones I can compare it to is the Backstage by Dior or the Face and Body by MAC. Those are quite runny, so if you use a sponge with them, they do tend to soak it up, and then you get less coverage because of it. Which those are not full coverage anyways, but the consistency is comparable only, not the texture. In the lights last night, this foundation seemed to be completely the wrong shade. I'm looking at it now, and it's still definitely not a perfect shade match. And like I said, it's too late to exchange it now, but I purchased these from Uoma Beauty's website. They have a 30-day exchange policy or return policy. So I am stuck with this, but I found last night that when I used all my products, it was fine. I was able to make it all work with little to no hassles regarding the shade. It's ironic too, because I bought what I thought was the pink shade, but I feel like it's kind of warm because my skin is getting like that orangish tint that you get when you're cool and you use a warm foundation. So my lights aren't relatively warm, so when I can see it in these lights, it's kind of obvious that it's not a great match. I do think while this is matte, even though it dries down relatively fast, you can't just sit and work very slow, but it is relatively easy to work with. I feel like it blends pretty easy. I am not going for full coverage today. You can build this to full coverage. However, it is one that I don't have to. It lets you go to medium coverage. Next, I'm going to color correct with my Charlotte Tilbury. This is the number 2 color corrector. No, number 1. And I do just warm the product up first before putting it on. almost every time I do this, I mess up my inner corner and my outer because I want it to be very close to that line. So I typically do mess it up, but I go back and touch it up when I'm done. So next I'm actually going to go in with the NARS, I keep forgetting the name of the soft matte concealer. I haven't used this in years and I don't even remember what it looks like under the eye. But I am going to use a brush since I have nails on. I don't want to mess up my concealer with my nails, or vice versa. I am going to run it, go through it with a sponge also because I want it to be kind of diffused. But I'm going to apply it first with a concealer brush. And then this is just the Real Techniques concealer brush. It's one that's available pretty much everywhere. One of the coolest things about the soft matte concealer is, while I don't always use it under my eye, it's definitely not my first choice under my eye. Because it's a soft matte, it does blend out to be matte, but it doesn't look stiff. It doesn't look ridiculous. So I didn't use the Uoma concealer because I actually purchased the wrong shade by accident. It's just a shade too dark and it does look a little weird. It will be great for spot concealing and things like that. So it's not going to go to waste since I can't exchange it, but it definitely worked well. I had no problem. I actually accidentally forgot to use my color corrector. Looked great. So I definitely think it's a good concealer. So I am going to go off camera. I'm going to finish my base in my eyes and then I will come back and tell you what I think, tell you what worked, what didn't. So on my eye is a tutorial I'm working on. Simultaneously with this is the Chocolate Gold palette by Too Faced. So I am doing a fall look without warm browns because it does, fall looks always are just like warm brown base. So I was trying to do something a little bit different. So if you want to see that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so you are notified of each one of my uploads, and I will be back in just a minute. Okay, so this is the finished look, just so that you know what I put on my face so that you can compare it with, you know, the foundation if you were to try it. Is I did use my Fenty Butter setting powder. I did use, for bronzer, I use a little bit of the Lip Bar 4-in-1. This is the Minute Finish 4-in-1 face palette. Just look like this. If you haven't seen these before, these are amazing and they are affordable. So to go in with that bronzer. And then also from the Lip Bar is the Fresh Glow Bronzer Blush and Glow Duo. And I did just put a touch of the postage stamps on this. So I do want to apologize. They are working on a median outside my house for like the 4th week in a row. This median is not that big and they have like 8 guys over there working. Don't know why they're not done yet. However, I did want to point out because while I am not a princess, I have a potty mouth. I typically do not swear on here and they make me look like a nun. So if you hear anything, I apologize. I do always try to add out any outside noise, but I wanted to just put that disclaimer out there. So for blush, I did again use the Lip Bar. I used this blush right here, and that is in the shade Blush Snatch. I'm pretty sure the Go Off is the lightest palette on that one. So for highlighter, I did use the Tribe Highlighter Volume 3 by Juvia's Place. It does look like this. And then over my entire face, I did put, this is the Hourglass, what is the new one called? Ambient Lighting Infinity Powder. It does look like this. It does look like nothing in the pan, but when it goes on, it is just a great finishing powder. It does just, one, help to set your makeup, 2, it gives you a nice healthy glow. And then I am using the Kosas lip oil on my lips. I did just want something moisturizing, nothing crazy. So Uoma foundation. So this is technically my 3rd try of this foundation. This by far is the prettiest it's been. So I think it's really important not to use an oily primer right before you put this on, but you also want to use a super nutritious and moisturizing primer. So I am going to do a wear test today. I'm actually going to check in probably sometime in the late afternoon, and then I will check in at the end of the night and we'll see how this holds up. I will say the one area I am worried about, and I didn't think of it when I first started saying this, but as I look in the mirror, I can see right around the upper mouth right here, like what would be a mustache line, it has like gotten more cakey and it has got a little like settled. But I've had foundations that did that, and then once the foundation cures and your natural oils come through, then it looks fantastic. It just is a real beautiful foundation. Dose of Colors is one that does not look perfect the minute I put it on. Wonder Beauty does not look perfect the minute I put it on, but 2 hours in, looks fantastic. So that is where we're at right now. I will come back and check in and see you in a few. So it is almost 6 o'clock and I did forget to check in before now, but I'm not washing it off yet. I'm gonna let it go still. So far, I'm seeing just minimal sinking right here, And that's pretty much it. I have a little bit of dryness under my eyes, but that could be from the powder more than the concealer. But so far, I think the foundation looks really good. So I will check it in again at the end of the night. Oh, you know what? I did just notice I have a little bit of wear right here. That's it. So I will check it again at the end of the night, but that is so far. So this is editing brain jumping in really quick. So it looks like a piece of my footage was lost when I went to edit this. So I just want to jump in and say that the next piece of footage you see will be at the 10-hour mark. And this foundation looks amazing. There was a few wear spots, but at 10 hours, that is purely expected. That is placed on my forehead did definitely wear off, around my smile lines and on my chin just a little bit. And then I did want to comment that above my lip, the part I was kind of worried about, did cure, looked fantastic within an hour, and the foundation stayed on all day. So I am going to keep wearing this month, but I just wanted to point out that this is a 10-hour wear test, and it was not 90 degrees, but it definitely wasn't cool outside, and I wear a mask, I went places, did things, and the makeup looks fantastic. I did not wear a mask for an entire work shift. I ran into a store, ran back out, but it does still look amazing. So in my opinion, that's a win when it comes to the Uoma Beauty foundation. After 10 hours, I think that this foundation did fantastic. If you like foundation reviews, if you like eyeshadow tutorials, Full Face Friday, Makeup Minute Monday, I hope that you will like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and I am going to go wash my face now. Hope you have a great night, guys.